Avowed, like most RPGs, is a big game with lots of different systems and mechanics, and making sure that you put your best foot forward could make a very big difference. So let's jump into our 10 tips and tricks for Avowed in no particular order. There are plenty of hidden treasures all over the living lands that can be found at the bottom of a lake or deep within a giant spider den. Unfortunately, some of these chests will be locked, and while some chests you might be able to find a key in the surrounding areas, some don't have a key and will require lockpicking. You won't find too many lockpicks on fallen enemies, so be sure to purchase lockpicks at every vendor. Each vendor usually has a few, and they usually only cost around 15 coins. You should buy all of them as they won't cost much, but they will provide you with a great return on investment. Whenever you enter a new area like the Dawn Shore or the Emerald Stair, there will be a hub or a town square, so be sure to find the bounty board before exploring and collect each bounty. Most areas only have about 5 bounties, so be sure to grab them as you will likely come across many of these enemies naturally as you explore. Combat can be challenging at times, especially when there's lots of enemies. You might think you're making good progress in battle until the enemies get their health fully restored. Very often in each battle there will be priests, and they will usually have a staff with a glowing green healing storm above them, healing everyone in the fight. Prioritize finding these priests and eliminating them first. The checkpoint system and the autosave system in Avowed is pretty good, but it isn't perfect, so be sure to save after each large battle to avoid headaches and having to repeat battles twice. You will find boosters around the world on fallen enemies, and you will also have the ability to craft these recipes back at camp, but save them for the challenging battles. There are numerous big fights within Avowed that will require you to use every trick in your book and utilizing every party member to their fullest. To gain a much needed advantage in these battles, you need to use some of your boosters that have the ability to increase your damage, reduce damage, increase stamina, increase mobility, and other useful bonuses like this. These will be essential to your success. Like any good RPG worth its salt, you need to have waterfalls and hidden areas behind them. It's basically RPG Design 101, and Avowed holds up the waterfall standard, with many of them offering goods behind them. Be sure to investigate every waterfall that you come across. Staying with the water-based tips, be sure to check at the bottom of rivers, ponds, and lake beds that are deep enough to swim, as you will usually find something worthy of your time. There are 3 classes in Avowed: Ranger, Wizard, and Warrior. But just because you select your background at the very beginning of the game, doesn't mean that you can't take advantage of all 3 skill trees. The passives are especially important because, for example, if you focused on the Wizard path, you wouldn't see a passive to regenerate health, which is found under the Ranger passives. Be sure to check out all skill trees and figure out what's important to your playstyle. Pick up all resources that you see on the ground. At times, it might feel like you have an abundance of everything, but there will come intense battles when you need everything in your pack and you will deplete your supply. It's always better to have too much than not enough, so never stop picking up resources. Speaking of picking up resources, it might not seem like you need to, but pick up and keep rotten food. On its own, it won't do you any good, but when added into a recipe at your campsite, it can be turned into something very different with magical properties that will drastically aid you in your battle. Rotten food is the basis for boosters. Avowed features many unique weapons that feel reminiscent of exotics from Destiny, complete with an interesting write-up about the lore of the item. These unique items come with a unique perk that make these weapons stand out from the rest. What's very important with these items is that you usually have the ability to unlock a second unique perk back at the campsite. It will require more resources, but getting 2 bonus perks on a weapon can make a lot of difference depending on your playstyle. I hope these tips will help you, and if you have anything else, add them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to see more like it. Video games is a positivity-forward outlet, a place about being good to your fellow gamer and being better to your fellow human. Every single person in the world has the power to make it a better place. If that sounds like you, I would love to have you as a member of this community and would love to see you in the comments. That's all for this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.